The Supreme Court is expected to release an opinion this summer that has the potential to change when and how people can access abortion in this country.
For decades, Florida has offered a way for teenagers to access abortion without their parents' consent. WESH News' Kelsey Thorne looked into that process and how people both for and against it feel about the future of abortion access.
As the future of abortion rights in this country remains top of mind for millions awaiting what could be a monumental Supreme Court ruling this summer, a lesser-known abortion law right here in Florida has been the subject of controversy locally for years.
It's this system that doesn't end and just continuously harms family and destroys young people.
We think this is very smart law. You can't even get your ears pierced or go on a field trip without parents' consent for a minor, and yet we're going to let a child undergo a major surgical procedure.
For decades, teenagers who want to get an abortion in Florida have been required to notify a parent before they can get one. That requirement got stricter in 2020. Now, instead of just notifying a parent, teens must get their parents' consent. The only way teens can access abortion without telling their parents is by petitioning their local court to grant them what's called a judicial waiver or bypass.
I just thought that this is what I'm going to have to do.
Stephanie Lorraine Pinheiro went through the judicial bypass process back in 2009 when she was 17.
And I was set that I needed to get an abortion and that nothing was going to change my mind.
Stephanie says her parents made clear they were against abortion, and she feared her father would become violent if he found out.
So I called a phone number that somebody posted about on the message boards, and the line was busy. I called for like 3 days until I finally got somebody on the phone, and they connected me with a pro bono attorney.
Heather Moorcroft is one of those attorneys.
Basically, since they became available, I've been doing them.
Moorcroft says the judicial waiver process is unique because it requires the teen prove to a judge they are sufficiently mature enough to decide to get an abortion. The law says the judge should consider the minor's age, intelligence, emotional development, credibility, and ability to, quote, accept responsibility.
It's up to the judge to hear the testimony and make a determination as to whether or not the young woman is credible, whether or not what she's testifying to meets the standards of the statute.
Stephanie says she brought everything from old police reports involving her father to her school report cards.
I showed my grades that I had just started college early, that I had good grades, that I showed my resume, that I had jobs already. It was saying I deserve to live my life.
In the end, Stephanie was granted a judicial waiver and able to get an abortion. But she says the whole process was extremely traumatic.
No one's supposed to go through that just to get health care. No one should have to scour message boards and read the internet to get hope about being able to access their bodily autonomy.
That is why abortion rights advocates continue to fight against the process, arguing teens should have access to abortion just like adults, with no requirement to notify or get consent from their parents.
The last place they want to be is a courtroom with oftentimes an old white man deciding whether or not they are going to have to become a parent or not.
But anti-abortion rights advocates say the process needs to be in place to make sure teens know exactly what they're choosing to do.
This is an irreversible decision, and it's fraught with medical, psychological, and all kinds of consequences. So it makes sense to put a child through that kind of decision making if the child refuses to allow parents to be involved.
For now, the judicial bypass process in Florida remains essentially the same as it was when Stephanie went through it in 2009. Abortion rights advocates continue to work to abolish the process, while anti-abortion rights advocates work to make it stricter. All of this going on at a time now where the fate of abortion access for all, teens or adults, hangs in the balance. Kelsey Thorne, WESH 2 News.